This is Trade Excellency, and as promised, I had mentioned to you guys that I would start with the very first YouTube video, and if we get enough exposure, that I will continue to make these videos on a weekly basis. So today's video is going to be recapping April 2nd week, and this will be highlights of all the stock ideas from Monday to Friday that were mentioned on the StockTwits Twitter handles. Before we begin, make sure to follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It brings awareness to those who could potentially take advantage of ideas mentioned in the videos. And remember, all posts mentioned were our ideas and are not to be taken as financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and manage your own risk when trading these penny stocks. We had two ideas that we shared over the last weekend. One was JFBR and the other one was KAL. The main reason for a JFBR idea was that it was an AI stock and it was at the bottom reds. The level was around 70s at the time when I mentioned it on Sunday evening, I believe. We noticed that all these AI stocks were, continuing into an uptrend, and so decided to put this one on the watch list because it complemented the others, and it was also one of those at the bottom levels, whereas BFRG and the other stocks that were in the same sector were up high and they were already gone. So I wanted to find something that could potentially give us a good return based on the risk and reward on this stock here. And so this stock also had a 2 million float, and they also had cash, so that built my conviction even more. So I figured it'd be a great idea to keep it on watch and saw the potential. So we ended up watching in the 70s level on Monday morning, but pre-market it gapped up to $1 so quickly. As soon as it was 4 o'clock in the morning when I woke up, it had gapped up and I never saw anything below. So it was just clear skies from after that $1 range, ultimately hitting into the 130, 140s range for almost 100% profit. So that idea worked out well. And then KAL was another idea that we shared on the, I believe it was Thursday, last Thursday. And I saw this stock fall into the $2 range, and I saw it hold there. And that's what I like to see on these kind of stocks, where it holds the level and it doesn't go below. And remember, when a stock falls at support level, that doesn't mean it's going to hold the support. It could fall below, but this one just kept bouncing back up and staying on right at that $2 level. It was hovering around there, that range, for a couple of days, I believe. And we saw it create a base, so we just went ahead and decided to take this idea here. And the longer it held that support, of course, the longer it built my conviction. So from there, volume poured in towards the midday, I believe. And as it was a lower float, a 1 million, since I'm more into low float penny stocks, this one ended up spiking and ultimately hitting into the $3 range, which was quite surprising because as soon as it got into the 230s, 240s, it seemed like it was losing steam. But later on in the day, it actually took off, and this one surprised me quite a bit. So besides these two trades that we had Monday morning, we also spotted SMX, and they had a PR regarding the Fox News. They were going to be on Fox on that specific evening. So although I didn't post I did post the SMX, but that was a personal day trade for me, SMX itself. And then in that PR, we saw another company, HPCO, and they're presenting at the same time on that evening. So that was an idea that I decided to pull the trigger on, and 60s was the range at that time. We got a nice run into 79, I believe. So it was a good day trade, but we did see it fall. Not fall, but we saw it kind of consolidate, but didn't really hold that 70 range. And so it was a nice day trade. I wasn't expecting to swing it. I mean, these are just more of news plays that just happen to get volume and get attention off these news and PRs and whatnot. So we were grateful for that opportunity. PEAR was a bankruptcy play, and I don't really normally trade these kind of plays, but I saw the potential because it was at 11 to 12 range, and it didn't go below that. I believe 10 was the support, so I figured it was a good risk off the this trade here, and it did hit 15.5, I believe. 1 or 2 days later, so I did swing this one, but it did give us multiple opportunities as well. So it ran from 11, and then it went to 13, came back to 11, went to like 14, so it had quite a bit of opportunities. So, but I didn't quite see the real run on this stock, so it was kind of disappointing. But I mean, 4.5 cents, almost like 50% on this kind of stock. So I mean, if you traded at the right range, you probably made some pretty good money. But I know a lot of people did, so a lot of traders took advantage of this PEAR, so it was okay. DRMA was a stock that I had mentioned as an idea on April 11th. I noticed that this stock had a really low float. It was like 500 or 600K. They had done their offering, and so it was tanking from 3s to 1s. So, well, and then ultimately found support near the 1 range. We had traded this earlier from 2s into 3s. I think it was a week before, or maybe 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But 110 was the level after it had tanked after that, and I didn't see it fall below that. So again, just like the other setup before, the longer it stays at a certain level and doesn't go below, kind of builds my conviction moving forward. So it took the idea around 110s, ran to 130s, then kind of lost steam. But today, on Friday, it decided it wanted to run, went all the way to 170, and that was a quick pop. I didn't hold, but this week, if any of you guys grabbed it early on in the week and held on, it was a pretty nice 50% run, more than 50% actually. It ran to like $1.76 today. They do have a catalyst coming up second half of 2023, so I will be watching this again. Along with DRMA, there was a similar low float run that we saw with FRGT, GFAI, and other low floaters. So ENSC was a bio setup that also thought that it could have that potential. Looked like it was setting up because it had that. Again, it was falling at a level that I figured, okay, well, it doesn't seem like it's going to come below this. But this was a really good trade. Again, it was kind of like DRMA, where it went up 20-30 cents, then kind of came down a little bit, but consolidated, and then it ran the next day or 2 days later. So same here, ENSC, it ran from 360 to 390. I had mentioned the idea on Stock Twits and Twitter, but then it faded back into 380. But today it went to about 411. So I was looking for that $4 break resistance level, and it didn't do that on April 12th, which was 2 days ago, but it ultimately did break out that 4 range and went about to 410, 411-ish. So that was a good 50 cents that we got out of this one. Wednesday's overnighter was a surprise, but also a really great trade. JZXN, the China EV company, they focus on electric vehicles, and so this here, the stock, what caught my eye was the volume. I saw a lot of this getting bid up on that day, and I decided to take a shot at 13 cents, knowing that 12 cents was the support range at that time. And it was supposed to be a swing, but to my surprise, the next morning pre-market, it ran all the way to 23 cents. And I woke up around 4 a.m. and I saw the price had already run, but it was around 18, 19 cents at that time. So that's where I decided to take the profit. So it was a good, 6, 7 cent run for me, but it actually did run 100% from within, I think, maybe 15, 16 hours. I mentioned this around 1 o'clock on April 12th, and then 4 a.m. The next morning is when it ran. So it was about less than 24 hours. A good return there. Thursday pre-market proved to be a nice start with JZXN, as we just discussed. But another name caught my eye, TOVX. It's a bio that's happening to be presenting next week. And to your right, you can see the fundamentals. They have a 10 million market cap, 38 million in cash, 14 to 15 million float, which could prove to be actually pretty nice if this does decide to move. But key level is 76.84. I'm going to keep this one on watch. 60s the support for now, at least. And I like how it closed today, 73, 74 range. As long as it keeps building those higher highs, stair stepping up, and just like we had for CRVS, that setup was super clean. We'd had dips, but those dips got bought up, and just those stair steps, like higher highs, higher lows. That's what I like to see on a swing. So I think this TOVX setup could be nice, but then again, manage risk as of course. Aside from that TOVX, OBLG was another one that was, we actually were the earliest ones to mention this. I had mentioned this as an idea at $1.50. And I noticed it had that AI connection as well. So it had a halt fest, actually, today, I believe. But again, these stocks, they, if you see them holding a level, that's good news. So 150 zone was mentioned, I believe it was 2 days ago or yesterday, April 13th. And it ran to about 170s, 180s, if I'm not mistaken. But it kind of held there, but it got bought up big time today. I'm sure a lot of traders took advantage of that. They were watching that, but it didn't see anything below that. It just kept running. $2, $3, $4, ultimately hitting nearly $5 after hours today. It's like 200% plus on this 1 day swing, if you want to call it, or I don't know, whatever it is. But it was a good trade, and it provided multiple opportunities. It wasn't just one of those where you just get in and get out. You could get in and get out as many times as you wanted if you saw those levels and you played it perfectly, or if you played it right. GSIT was another day trade that we had, I believe, yesterday. This one based at 2, ran to 230s before stabilizing. That was another day trade that we had. Right at market open today, Friday, we found another day trade opportunity. When I look at these ideas, I don't think that it's going to be a day trade. I kind of think, okay, I'll hold it into a swing, but it all depends on volume. So when volume catches or pours in, that's when it gets really interesting. So that's when my plan changes too. So if I think, okay, well, I'm going to swing this, but volume comes in, it could be a potential day trade too. So you always have to make sure that what your plan is before you move into the stock, but you always have to make sure that you follow through with that. But for me, in this case, it was a little different because I had expected a swing, but sometimes they run hard and you're happy with the return. So it's okay to change your plan in between as well. But I had noticed that it was locked at support at the $2 range for quite a bit. So it was on my watch list for a few days. And $2.09, $2.10 is when I popped in here. It ran to about 230, within the hour, then fell back to 210s again. But towards the day, it started to run. People started to realize that this is also an AI related stock. Ultimately hitting 280s after hours, and I still feel this could continue Monday if AI continues. But I think $2 to 280, that's about 80 cents profit in one day, which is pretty good. I mean, considering the market these days and SPY, how it's like so unpredictable. QLGN was a really quick day trade that we had. I noticed that sub $1 pennies were running, a few of them, and this was one of those low floats, and it was already running at the time I had decided to go in, but 49 to 56 was the it's about 6-7 cents off that trade. And lastly, this week, OPFI, another day trade we mentioned. We caught it around $2, ran to 217, couldn't really quite get into momentum, but it is an AI stock, so I will be looking to see what this does on Monday, so it'll be on the watch list as well. As always, if I find something bullish into the week, I will always share it as an idea. Please manage your own risk, as with these penny stocks, nothing is a guaranteed win. This week, SPY market was again up and down, as we had CPI results, Fed meetings, and whatnot. We took advantage of day trade setups, and we're very aware of the sectors that were hot and that we could take advantage of. We found some nice stocks within each sector, and we're grateful for the opportunities that they provided. Luckily, we had no losses this week. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually we have like 1 or 2 losses, 3 losses sometimes on a weekly basis, but this was a really great week. We just traded what we could, what we had, like all these AI stocks that were running. Mostly it was just AI related, and but yeah, so this was a great week overall. Just took advantage of what the market gave us. Again, remember, you guys, all ideas mentioned on Stock Twits in this presentation were just ideas, as well as on Twitter as well. So don't go into these stocks thinking this is gonna go. You have to look at the setup. You have to look at the chart. Remember, uptrending chart is always good. Look at the area of value. You want to look at what potential return you can get. Make sure you set stop losses, so you don't if a stock goes south or downward, you can manage risk that way. There's so many other ways that you can potentially make yourself a better trader. I'll be discussing that in videos moving forward. But again, this is not financial advice. It's just educational material. Feel free to follow me on Stock Twits and Twitter. I continue to try my best to provide ideas that I feel could reward us nicely based on the technical and fundamentals of each stock. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. See you all on Monday. Sorry I rushed this video a little bit because I have to fit it into the time frame. But I hope everybody was able to take advantage of these setups this week. And if you liked the quick presentation, feel free to share it on social media, tag me, make sure to follow and subscribe. See you all on Monday. Thank you very much.